You know, just wonderful, isn't it, Simon? Just wonderful. Jude Bellingham, moments ago, standing in front of Perez, of Butragueno, of Raul at the Bernabeu and addressing everybody there. I mean, he is not 20 until the 29th of this month.
Yes.
And he's on his feet addressing the great and the good, as he says, at what is, he believes, to be the greatest football club in the world. So Jude Bellingham, now, of course, a Real Madrid player, after what was a £115 million deal. Amazing. Good luck to you, Jude. Absolute gem of a boy. Here's a gem of a fella.
Keep being that way.
Yeah. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, is waiting to speak to us. Alex, good morning. What a moment for Bellingham, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful, Jim. And he speaks so well, doesn't he? He conducts himself so well on and off the pitch. I can only see this being a really good move for him, and I think it will propel him to being one of the genuinely best players in the world. I think he showed at the World Cup that he has that world-class potential, and there's no better club to unlock that potential than Real Madrid.
Wonderful. Jude Victor William Bellingham, now a Real Madrid player. Alex, what's the latest then? Declan Rice, it was my understanding until late last night, no firm and fast bids on the table for Declan. Now, this is now moving along, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We're only a couple of days into the window, and already this is potentially shaping up to be a saga. I think Arsenal still want to get this deal done as quickly as possible, particularly with the prospects I mentioned earlier in the week of Manchester City lurking in the background. You wonder how serious their interest is at the moment, or is this just West Ham trying to coax Arsenal to get nearer their asking price? There were verbal indications earlier in the week that Arsenal were willing to pay the 100+ million that West Ham want for Declan Rice. You got that magic figure, didn't you, Jim, of 100 plus 20 from David Sullivan on this very programme. The first bid falls well short of that, 80 million plus 10 million with add-ons. Clearly not enough to tempt West Ham into a deal. We are expecting Arsenal to return with an improved offer. And as far as I understand it, Declan Rice still sees Arsenal as his preferred destination. So no real cause for alarm for Arsenal at this stage, unless Manchester City do back up their interest with a serious bid.
Be interesting, Simon, to see what comes about.
If I'm Arsenal, I wouldn't be racing back with an improved offer. What am I racing back to an improved offer for? Because West Ham have said no. Right, well, okay, well, the player wants to leave. So you're going to wait until somebody comes along and tells you that you've got to pay more because there's another bid on the table.
Do you want to get into a bidding war in Manchester City, though, Simon?
But
Do you
you're
want
going
to
to get into it anyway, aren't you? You're not going to steal a march. David Sullivan is going to go, all right, sold. He's going to use it as a leverage until he gets as much as he possibly can, until he rinses every single last ruple, shekel or pound out of it.
Ruple. Okay. What's the latest in Kyle Walker? He's not going to be out of Manchester City anytime soon, or is he?
Well, do you know what? I think we're shaping up for quite an interesting summer at Manchester City. We've mentioned before, it's a difficult job, isn't it, if you're Pep Guardiola, keeping all these stars happy. And by all accounts, Kyle Walker didn't take it too well, being left out of that Champions League final at the weekend. I've been hearing for a while that there's serious interest from Sheffield United, his hometown club where Kyle Walker started his career. You would say it's a massive step down, isn't it, to walk out in the treble winners and join Sheffield United. Early today, another source mentioned Saudi Arabia as a possible destination for Walker. Clearly, financially, that would be beneficial. But it's not just Kyle Walker looking at his future at Manchester City. Riyad Mahrez as well. The interest from Saudi Arabia in him is genuine. We don't know if Ilkay Gundogan is going to stay yet. Bernardo Silva, I think, is hankering for a move away. So I think it could be a summer of some upheaval at Manchester City.
It's beginning to look that way. Certainly would be a great feather in Sheffield United's cap.
No chance.
Walker.
Kyle Walker's, with all due respect to Sheffield United, this is a top player with still legs left in him. So he's not going to be going to Sheffield United. And how can they afford him? How are they going to afford £200,000 a week?
Well, that's a great question. He's only got a year left on his contract. He has said in the past that he would like to finish his career at Sheffield United, but you're right. He's earning a huge amount of money at Manchester City. He's with a club who've won everything. But it's interesting, isn't it, that some players there, Mahrez as well, I know was disappointed not to start the FA Cup final, not to start the Champions League final. It's a challenge for Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, indeed. So Brighton, we know, have got James Milner through the door. Who's coming next?
Well, they're obviously having to revamp their midfield. Alexis McAllister, already a Liverpool player. Lots of interest in Moises Caicedo, including, according to sources in Germany from Bayern Munich. We know Arsenal and Chelsea heavily tracking him as well. Milner in, as you say, I think it's a really good addition to the dressing room. They've got Dahoud coming from Borussia Dortmund. That will be confirmed shortly as well. Conor Gallagher, Brighton, one of a number of clubs in the Premier League who would be interested in signing Conor Gallagher. I think this would be a brilliant move for Conor Gallagher. Go and learn under a manager like Roberto De Zerbi, go and play in the Europa League, get regular first-team football. He is one of a number of players, Gallagher, that Chelsea are willing to listen to offers for this summer because, of course, they've got to raise funds in order for Pochettino to come and put his stamp on the squad.
Simon, what top footballer wouldn't want to join Brighton at this stage, one of the best-run clubs in the country?
A Chelsea footballer, I suspect.
Well, unless... Yeah, but he wants game time.
Yeah, he may well do.
Wants to play.
But I'd fight... Listen, it's one thing going out on loan to Crystal Palace. It's another thing signing when you've been a first-team moderate regular for Chelsea this season. You've been not frequent, but there and thereabouts. So you're now a Chelsea team that's in a bit of a funk, that's expected to come back and be strong again next season to some... So I would be surprised if he went to Brighton. I would think he'd be looking for a different kind of move. And I understand the argument around Roberto De Zerbi and the achievements of Brighton, but I still think there will be...
So where would he go?
An inverted... Well, it depends who's in the market for him. I think where he would like to... If the option is being put to him is Brighton or nowhere, then maybe you'll find yourself at Brighton. But if there's a variety of different football clubs, like the Aston Villas of the world, that might be in for him... I don't know. There's just maybe it's the Palace Brighton thing. I mean, I don't see that situation. But also
Aston Villa in Europe, Brighton in Europe.
I get it, but I think that there will be a passage. I think Brighton are having their moment. I do. I think they're having a wonderful moment. I think they're a wonderfully run football club. I don't begrudge them one single ounce of success. But I think that there will be a levelling off of the sides that have done remarkably well against the sides that traditionally are bigger and bolder and better football clubs. Have we lost the interest in? Have Arsenal lost complete interest in the boy? Moses, I never can pronounce his surname.
Caicedo. No, I think they're still there, Simon. But again, maybe this is why they're trying to keep the price down with Declan Rice, because it's a lot of money, isn't it? If you spend 100 million on Declan Rice, it's going to cost you 80 million for Moises Caicedo. That's a huge chunk of money on two players.
Yeah. Also, Manchester United, big interest in Moises Caicedo, and it's hardly any surprise in that. Kai Havertz, is he coming out of Chelsea anytime soon?
Looks like he could be, Jim. Obviously, the talk a week or so ago was Real Madrid. They bulked at Chelsea's asking price. Conversations, amicable discussions underway between Arsenal and Chelsea. I think this all hinges on if Chelsea can get Havertz to commit to a new contract or not. If he does, obviously, they can name their price. If he doesn't, he's got 2 years left on his deal. So suddenly, the buying club are in a much stronger position. I'm fascinated to see where he fits in at Arsenal, because for me, they need a proper number 9, and I don't see Kai Havertz as a proper number 9. He's a number 10. Well, they've got plenty of them already.
It's funny how the situation with a top player can change. It wasn't that long ago since Kai Havertz was being lauded from the heavens by Chelsea fans for winning them the Champions League final.
I don't. When I think of Kai Havertz, I think of him in the level that I think he's underachieved at Chelsea. I don't think he set the world on fire besides scoring that goal.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Simon. He's a cult hero at Chelsea because of that one iconic moment. But I think he's had more bad games than good in a Chelsea shirt.
Yeah, at Leicester City, and of course we're talking manager now as opposed to player. It would seem no Scott Parker is looking. They're looking elsewhere. So where are they looking?
Well, they're looking towards the treble winners, and no surprise, really. Enzo Maresca, a very respected member of Pep Guardiola's backroom staff, one of his assistant head coaches, very much on the radar, I'm told, of Leicester City. The big question mark here is how keen is Maresca to drop into the Championship and cut his teeth in management? He's got very little frontline experience. And how keen is Pep Guardiola to lose one of his trusted lieutenants? What's interesting here is Southampton were in for Maresca. He didn't want to make that move. Russell Martin is going to be the new Southampton manager. We're just waiting for that to be confirmed. Leicester would be keen on Maresca, but I think it comes with risk attached on both sides. You know, him sacrificing what is a pretty cushy number at Manchester City, working alongside Pep Guardiola, and Leicester going for a manager with no Championship experience. If it does come off, I'd be really intrigued to see how it works out.
Okay, be interesting, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean,
plundering his staff.
Sure, they've got Vincent Kompany being proof of concept, haven't they? In terms of Vincent's gone out and managed in Belgium, but has been prepared to go into the Championship with slightly unfashionable Burnley, and has come back with major aplomb. If this guy wants to be a manager, lightning doesn't strike twice that often. You're not going to get coaches come out from underneath, these people and suddenly land a Premier League job like Mikel Arteta did. On the whole, these guys are going to have to accept a lesser opportunity if indeed they want to be a manager. if he doesn't want to be a manager, doesn't want to back himself, because Leicester would be a decent job. Leicester, you would think that Leicester get themselves together and restructure their thinking and get rid of the players that didn't want to be there and doing everybody a favour by helping them get relegated, get a better attitude in the dressing room, that Leicester would be a distinct possibility of getting promoted again.
At this time. Yeah. Alex, listen, thanks very much indeed. Alex Crook, talkSPORT's chief football correspondent with us this lunchtime. That was a look at the latest transfer news on talkSPORT with McDonald's.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.